Flacco, what intrigued you about his tape the last couple of years when you're going through that process?
Joe's been a pro in the NFL for a long time. He's done some really, his resume is really solid when you just look at the course of his career. But more than anything, I think his skill set marries very, very well with the type of offense we run. He's tough. He stands in the pocket and he can make all the throws. And then those are the things that, of course, you want in your quarterback. And so looking forward to building on that and working with it.
His experience with Gary's offense for that year will help him?
It was easy to evaluate that year and watch him play that season because they did some similar things. But yeah, I think that there was knowledge of that because of the system and just the history with Gary and John, and then of course just being able to evaluate it. Just he's a perfect fit for the type of style of offense we play.
How involved has Vic been so far with the offense and helping implement that stuff?
He's been there every step of the way. He's, he's got a lot going on. He's responsible for a lot of things, but Vic's very detailed. He's the first one in, last one to leave coach. So he's on top of everything, and he demands a lot out of us, and he's been great to work with. And he sits in our meetings, our install meetings, and he asks from the defensive perspective. He gives great input for myself to grow as a coach, and it's been very, very good.
How have you balanced your time going from different positional groups, whether that's quarterbacks, running backs? Where do you find yourself most of the time?
Very fortunate with the quarterbacks. I'm in the room with the quarterback, but been very fortunate. I mean, I think that it's a testament to Vic. He put together an extremely talented staff that's very detailed, great teachers, hard workers. Trust every one of them in every way. They've been great for me, and we're on the same page and really have feel like we're moving all in the same direction. So it's been pretty smooth in that sense.
When you look at Joe, his best years were in 2014 was his last kind of big year. How do you evaluate that position? In a world we live with fantasy league statistics and touchdowns. Is it touchdown to interception ratio, taking care of the ball? What are you looking at for him as you kind of enter into this process?
When I think of quarterback play, I think their job is to make everyone around him better. That's what you do in an organization. They're the most important position generally in an organization. And with Joe, I think he's been asked to do a lot of things over his career. Sometimes it's be a game manager with a great defense. Sometimes it may fall on your shoulders in close games. I think he won a Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl champion because he was able to do that. And I think he can do whatever we ask of him. And I think that's the sign of a great quarterback.
Cortland says he believes he can be the number one receiver on this team. What have you seen from him, whether it was last year or this offseason, that makes you believe he can be that guy?
We evaluated Cortland hard, and I really liked him coming out of college. He's, with college receivers, sometimes it's hard to evaluate him in the offenses they play in. He has a tremendous skill set. I'm very fortunate to be with the organization that drafted him. They did a great job. They developed him very well last year. He's an ascending player. He's got the right mentality. He works at it, and look forward to working with him.
What did you see from Juwan James to say he'd be a good scheme fit?
Again, fortunately for us, we had some inside information really with Chris Cooper. Coop being here, coaching the line, was with him in Miami. Just knew what kind of person he was. Thought he's an athletic tackle. He's a very good pass protector, and in our scheme, I figured it would fit his skill set, and we could help him, continue to ascend as a player.
What have you seen from guys like Brendan Langley make that transition from cornerback to wide receiver? How has he made that transition so far?
He has the trait you can't teach. He can run. He's got speed, and that's what we're looking for. We having that in our offense helps things. It keeps the top off the cut. Allows us to push the ball down the field with Joe. That's really we're going to carve out a role, and we're looking for guys like that, and that's kind of where he fits. And so far, he's done a great job.
What do you see from some of the younger offensive linemen like Wilkinson, Sam Jones, Conlon?
Again, we're just getting into it. It's 2 practices, and we're in the middle of the evaluation process with that. But again, it's hard to tell because there's not a lot of film on those guys from early in their career, and you know what you know of them. But attitude-wise, working for Coach Munch, just how they've approached it in the first 2 days, I've been very impressed.
What about Coach Munchak with Garrett Bowles? How much time are they getting to spend together?
They're grinding. It's been good, though. Having this mini camp, you get to attack things that you don't do with the restrictions otherwise. And I think that they're forming a relationship, and so far it's been very productive.
So
What
you,
kind
when you,
of impact do you expect Mike to have on this offense?
I mean, it's to have any player is very fortunate to have someone like Mike Munchak around, someone who's played at his level, who's coached for as long as he's done as a head coach and assistant, his success in Pittsburgh, his ability to evaluate players, develop players. I've learned a lot in a couple weeks. I've been around some great line coaches, but there's some things I've absorbed from Mike that that have been very, very helpful to myself, and I think that any player or coach that's around that is going to benefit.
when you have the rookie quarterbacks, the draft prospects in for visits this month, how do you challenge their football IQ?
You know, I can tell you some of that, but I think my background in college has really helped me in the evaluation process at the professional level, just because the games have gone two different directions, college and the NFL. You have to be creative with how you evaluate a quarterback. I don't think you can do it the way it was done 15 years ago. I just believe that you're not evaluating the same thing. And so you have to, be innovative in a sense, I guess, with how you grind on these guys a little bit. And everyone has their own way around the league, and I have mine. And it's so far it's been very good. Kyle Shanahan had a lot of success doing it and showed me some things that I'm very proud to have learned from him that I use in the evaluation process as well. So it's a tough position to evaluate. So you just get them in here and you try and find out what you can about them.
Do you have to project more because they may not be running the same kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, you got to evaluate some physical and mental qualities that you may not be able to evaluate on tape or see. So you have to just get creative on how you can get to the bottom of those things.
When Joe's played really well, the tight end is a big part of that. What do you think of the guys you have here, and do you guys need to add one in the draft?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the draft stuff we're working through right now, and all that upstairs. But so far I've been very impressed with the tight ends, how they've worked. It's a good group. It was been. Some injuries have affected that group in the last couple years with all three of them that have been here and played a majority of the time. And now that they're healthy and they're out there running around, they look great. And I think they have the kind of skills that we'll be able to use in multiple ways.
What does Lindsey need to do to adjust to whatever increased attention he gets from defenses this year?
I would say as a runner, all you got to do is go out here and prepare to be the best you can be, and it's our job as coaches to put him in a position to be successful, and his job to go out there and execute what we ask him to do. And I think that he's got the traits that it takes to be a very, very good back in this league for a long time.
Because you're
Time for a few more guys.
Because you're the OC now, you probably have a little more influence in the draft room. Will you advocate if there's guys that are coming up on the board that you really like or that can help the offense?
It's the great part about being in this organization, I think, is John has set a real course for us and where we're going, and it's been very, very collaborative, and we've been able to work together, and it couldn't be better. Honestly, it's when you walk in the building, you enjoy working with the people who work in, and everyone has a shared vision, and they are on top of it, and it's been great. So we'll see how it plays out.
How much of the offense is that?
What's that?
How much of the offense has been taught?
That's hard to say. You're cramming for a test basically when you do a mini camp like this. You've had them for 2 weeks, and you're just trying to see where everyone's at. Part of it is to teach some guys the skills you're doing, and part of it is to see what kind of things each individual can do a little as we move forward into the next phase. So that's a hard one to answer, but we're just getting going.
Schedule comes out in a couple
That's what
hours. Are you the type of guy that looks around and says, okay, what's being leaked out? Who are we playing? Where do we play?
There's always going to be things you're going to want to know, like when your bye week is, and there's some things that you can look at and start to prepare your mind for. But in reality, it's that stuff's a long ways away. We're taking it one step at a time, and we got a long ways to go before we get to the opener. And excited about wherever it takes us, and we'll control that. We'll worry about that as we get a little closer to it. I really haven't thought about it much. So.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Rich.